recorded. And if we could start with apologies from all those in the public section of the meeting. I've forgotten where the book is. I think we've got four councillors that are absent that have given apologies this evening. Some are due to unforeseen circumstances and two are away. So
that's Councillor Maiden, Councillor Balfour, Councillor Moore and Councillor Cook, Chair.
Yeah, thank you. Just to check the council, we have those apologies and yeah, it's all right. Thank you very much. And I'll go to the general public. So if anyone would like to speak, Fred, and then I'll bring in Dougie and then Derek.
Well, first of all, I'll just let everybody know I'm Douglas tonight, and 2 years ago I got this petition for a crossing, free crossing on the Wakefield Road. So that's sort of me that did that. 200 signatures I got, right. But first of all, I'd just like to ask a question first. You know, I call them pretend police officers. Do they still walk this village?
PCSO. The PCSOs. My understanding is, yeah, I mean, I don't monitor them, I'm not responsible for them, but yes, there are PCSOs that cover all the different wards of the across the Wakefield district.
How is it we never see anyone? There's motorbikes coming now on this damn old way, and honestly, the people and children that's on there, somebody's going to get killed. That is one thing, and I'd like you to follow that up. And the people, I mean, I don't know what hours that these people are supposed to spend in Ackworth. We pay for them, so why aren't they coming here and doing the job? We pay for them, and there's nobody. Now then, up there now, what we started doing, they've been putting things up for children. Now then, I'm not against that. 100% behind it. You know, we've all been children, things to play, nothing against that. But the people that goes around there cleaning up, they're cleaning bottles, paper. On Sunday, if you've seen all the paper and bottles and that were about there, well, it's disgusting. And there's a lady that lives near there, I mean, I'm speaking on behalf of this lady. There's some younger lads going there and using it as a toilet against the trees. So I just thought I didn't enlighten that to you, because I had years ago, I mean, my family I should say, they've lived in Ackworth over 230 years, my family, and it's never been as bad as this. Well, I'm 86 now, and I've never seen it as bad as what it is now in this village. Dog bowl, people not picking it up. I've got a dog, I cannot see. I've got a guide dog. I've got a pen where my dog does it, and sometimes it does it out. And what I do, I use a bit of common sense. And if my dog does it, I wait till someone's coming by, and I ask him, could you please, my dog just in its mess, do you mind showing me where it is, please? And I pick it up. So if I can pick it up, anybody can put the old dog in it up. And I think, you know, they ought to be fined for this. It used to be things put down on the footpath, stated that they would get fined about it if they got caught. They haven't been that. That is what I would love to see you look into. Now then, the next thing I would like to bring up is, you know, I haven't been too well over a long period, that's the reason I'm not being in. But I'll just say this, and it's happened, there's people now will not use that crossing because it's not safe. Now then, does anybody walk the village? I know two councillors that walks this village. I'm not mentioning the name, there was 2 councillors, and I never, ever, ever, I mean, I can't see, but people speak to me. They've never seen anybody walking this route, Danville's Way, Wakefield Road, and where that crossing is. Now then, I did mention before when I used to come, you know, I used to love to go to Crickfield. My son, he's got his memorial stone in there, and I cannot cross the road. This Friday afternoon, and that's what brought me here as much as anything, this Friday afternoon at 10 minutes past 4, I was coming back. Normally I ask people to help me across, who know what about. I listened. I've got hearing aids, as you know, and I'm blind, I can't see anything. And got no one there. So I thought it's quiet. I put my stick out. I got nearly, I wouldn't say to the middle of the road, but in between, a quarter way over. And I got the guide dog, and a good job I had him. He pulled me back, and this car never slowed down, and it runs straight through that crossing there. I'd have been dead if I hadn't had my guide dog. So, what I'm trying to put to you is, if you look into this crossing, fair enough, you put the crossing there. I didn't think it was suitable, I'll be honest with you, but I thought, well, at least I'll be able to get across. It's a danger, honestly, it is a danger. And if there could be something done as regards that crossing, either get it renewed or something, because there's going to be a really bad accident there. Somebody's going to get killed. And if it isn't looked into it, they will. So I'm hoping that you're going to take notice of me about that. I mean, I was involved in transport nearly all my life. And the last meeting I ever went to, it was closed down, owing to the noise that were going. Now then, what I only want to ask a few simple questions, and if I may ask you now. The question I'd like to ask is, you've got a road safety committee. Are they had any training? Can you answer me that one, please?
Do you want to ask all your questions at once? Or,
right, okay,
or one at once?
right. Well, I hope it's getting recorded. So, this road training thing I'm wanting to know, because who's on the road training committee, road safety committee? I never see anybody. What do they know about road safety? I asked one person, I'm not going to mention their names, I will just tell you, and that was after that meeting was closed. You were there at this meeting when it was closed down, and I couldn't ask one question because you were asking things down at the front, and it got closed down. So I just asked certain councillor. I said, well, road safety, that road is a 30-mile-an-hour road. And the question I asked was, what is the overall braking distance, stopping distance at 30 miles an hour? And do you know the answer I got? I will tell you. 4 to 5 car lengths. Well, it isn't. I'd like to have questioned all the road safety committee. Now then, it's 6 cars or 75 foot. I've been involved in road transport, not on my job. So I wish you'd take that into consideration instead of just making all these decisions. And when that crossing got put there, now then, I wasn't even invited to a meeting. I walked around this village. I got let me get this right, over 2,000 signatures for the Puffing Crossing, which is a safety. It's got lights on. Trying to think I want to. I mean, I'm not a trouble causer. I've never been involved in anything in all my life. I've lived in Ackworth all my life. My dad was the chairman at Braley Hall before it went to Wakefield. So I know what I'm talking about, and I've still got a lot of paperwork in my dad's. I can go back And as I say, all my family, I've just told you how long that we've lived in this village. And I think it wants looking into. And I'm going to say you to Martin, right, can you just let this gentleman that sat outside of it read this out, please?
This is an email from you, Martin, to Councillor Matthew Morley, and it's copied in the whole of the thing. In 2021, or maybe before, myself and Councillor Balfour met with the Highways Officer, Martin Barnes was present, and others to discuss the roads in Ackworth. I thought it was a good meeting and crossing was discussed. From the meeting, we were told we couldn't have a puffing crossing, only a zebra, and then a year later, and there's something being redacted, is allowed a puffing crossing. It feels as though the parish council was fobbed off and a local resident was listened to and given everything he wants. That's all.
That is me.
Yeah.
You'll go slowly. Now then, you Martin, you go down in my estimation, I'll tell you, for that letter, all that hard work I did, walking all around 2,000 signatures, and not one person that signed that got interviewed, or wasn't even invited to a meeting. You call a meeting, and the Road Safety Committee that I just talked about, they was there at that meeting, well, the council, and I didn't even get invited myself. Why? I was only asking for something that, well, in my opinion, and if I had to go around now, we'll tell you this, that crossing, people have stopped walking on it because it's too dangerous. And on Friday afternoon, at 10 minutes past 4, I come back, I mean, as I've told you, in the cricket field, my son's memorial's there, and that's my life. I like to go up there. I've been there with the guide dog. Walking back home, I stood there, and on the Friday it's busy, as you well know. It's that busy, I stood there and I had to listen, and everything was quiet. So what did I do? Put my foot on the crossing, I got nearly to the middle of the crossing, and this car went boom. My dog pulled me back, else I'd have been dead. I'd like to take all this into consideration, you know. I mean, I'm a blind person, and I know there's other people who do other things, you know, but I mean, even women with pushchairs. But if I went round now and asked for signatures about that crossing, I bet I could get more than 2,000 signatures because people have stopped using it. So I'd just like you to take that into consideration and see if you can have something done about that crossing, or get something on it. I mean, it's road safety. I don't want to get run over and killed. I've got a family. And I think it's absolutely the people who've put that there, the Wakefield people, and the only reason to put that up is because of that letter that you have sent to Wakefield. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, first of all, if anyone thinks that planning comes down to one person, so if you think I've got that much authority to, if you think that one letter can overrule the entire planning, your petition went in, and there's actually more context to that email, first of all, which is that the Parish Council also supported your petition. We were asking for the same thing as well. We were at the Road Safety Committee then, which it was chaired under the previous Parish Council by Councillor Holyhead at the time, and they were asking for the puffing crossing. So actually the Parish Council was asking for exactly the same thing. What my complaint was in that email is the fact that Wakefield Council and the District Councillors at the time were not working with the Parish Council. You know, we're all trying to get the same thing here. There was then a meeting at which other councillors attended with Martin Barnes, so it wasn't just myself and Councillor Balfour. There were various councillors that were in attendance, and that meeting was arranged by Wakefield Council. That was hosted by Councillor Morley, who's is still currently the portfolio holder for highways. and I believe it was Jessica Carrington, who was the district councillor for Ward 1. They sent out the invites for the meeting. It wasn't the parish council. At that time, I mean, since May 2024, I've been elected as a district councillor as well. So I've already made some notes and I'll look into what the previous district councillors have done in terms of the previous casework that they've had relating to this crossing. You know, I don't have access to that information currently. I don't have that casework because I wasn't a district councillor then. The other point I would make on the crossing, at that meeting, we were told, and it was a verbal thing, and others can confirm, if not, that we were also told that there was the possibility, and I certainly took it more as we would look to get another crossing on Wakefield Road. That is what we were told. That's why we kind of like put the compromise in of, okay, we might have to settle for a zebra at this point, but we're going to get a puffing crossing later on, and then we'll have another crossing, proper crossings on that road. So there's more context to that email. In reading that email out, yes, if that was the case, and that email on its own, yes, makes me look very bad, but there's a lot more context to that. But this is old ground and we've already been over it, and this is a re-emerging. And if people want to blame me. I'll be the pantomime villain, but there's a lot more context to it. And planning does not come down to just me. If people want to believe that, believe it. But it doesn't just come down to me. There's an entire planning committee at Wakefield Council that deal with that. So that's the other thing. The other question you did ask is what training have people had in terms of the Road Safety Committee? Well, the Road Safety Committee doesn't actually exist in the same form it did before. It's now Environment, Road Safety, and and Planning. Thank you. And so it covers a range of things now. Now, personally, I can say that I've been on the local government training that looks after parish councils in terms of planning, in terms of environment, and the environment also covers some road safety aspects. That's training I've received, and that's provided to local councillors. So that's what I've had. Other councillors can speak for themselves on that. The other thing I've put forward, I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm fully qualified in terms of road safety or anything like that, but I'll do my best. And I put forward some drafts for a road safety plan. I'm currently working on getting, at the minute, I'd be happy with a traffic island, but ideally we need another crossing for Doncaster Road, which I know Fred, who's in the audience, and no doubt you'll probably want to speak on this yourself. I'm working on that. I've got that casework open as a district councillor, and I know that the parish council's always asked for that because that corner of the village needs some support as well because it's cut off. So, I mean, that's what I've got to say on that. And if people want to take it out of context, but for me, it's now old ground. And if people believe what they want to believe, but at the end of the day, if everyone thinks planning all comes down to me, if I decide where crossings go in Ackworth, I'll tell you now, we'll have puffing crossings up and down Wakefield Road, we'll get a puffing crossing on Doncaster Road, and we'll have one on Barnsley Road, let me tell you, because I am not against a puffing crossing, not in a million years. But the other thing you've got to take into consideration, this is one thing that people forget, other residents can put in objections, and other residents did put in objections to the crossing in the location where it was. And they came down to this parish council as well. And they literally knocked on the door and they were having to go at I can't remember which clerk was in place at the time, it was Sue. She had, some have been quite, so there's a whole lot of opinions in this village, is all I will say, and not everyone agrees. But I know this parish council wants to get safe crossings, puffing crossings ideally, we want ideally some on Wakefield Road, we want some on Doncaster Road, and if we could get one on Barnsley Road, we can, but it's very difficult, you've got processes to go through, it's very bureaucratic. That's one thing I will say about that.
Can I just check that we're extending public session time, Chair?
Yes.
Yes, we will do, because we've got a number of people that wish to speak. I hope that's all right with everyone. Sean, if you can be brief, because I do want to bring in, because it's the...
I attended a meeting with the Welfare Council, and the crossing would have gone from Angel down to Luton Shoe, and it was budgeted for a puffing crossing on Westhill Road, so where did the money go? When it was rounded, it was there.
I mean,
these things that we need to ask.
I'll just remind everyone as well, this is the Parish Council. Crossings and roads and highways is Wakefield Council. So I've made notes and I will take that up and I'll ask what the previous councillors know about this. But it's Wakefield Council. I can't provide you information about council here because I'm not Wakefield Council. It was before I was a district council.
Well, can you tell me just... Can I just...
Sorry.
1 second, please. The day they told us that buffing crossing were going ahead, it was all marked out. They came on that particular day that they were going to start on the job. And that particular day then, it got knocked into touch. And where did the money go for that crossing? Because it was ordered.
That's information I don't have. And that's for Wakefield Council to answer, so we can take that. I'm sorry, but I'm going to move on to Mr. Downs, if you'd like to.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm disgusted about it. I'm absolutely disgusted. What I've been told here, and what that letter said, and I think you're telling lies. That's the second lie you've told me. You told me when I met you, when one of the days that memorial people there, I spoke to you there, then, and you did say you made me into a liar when I come into this council meeting.
I'm not sure I did do that.
I know you did.
Thank you. Mr.
Don't
Downs.
do that, Martin.